Hi, I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. This week we're going to start the process of melting down the beeswax that we've been accumulating in the processes of uncapping all the honey that we've had this year. It's not as big a crop of honey this year. I would often fill this wax melter up twice during the summer. This year it'll be just the once, or pretty close to just the once anyway. So let's get on with the start of it, and I'll show you what I do. So we've reached the limit of our capacity of holding cappings, wet cappings here. They've been drained for at least overnight each time, often several days, and then going into this, what's a honey tank, or honey heating tank, but been modified to be a wax melter. So right now we've got it plugged in, and the temperature is 60 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 17 centigrade. And we have it set to go to about 130. And what we're going to do is, as that warms it up, the honey will run from the top of the extractor and gradually percolate its way down. And we'll be able to tap off a good deal of honey at this point. I'd say with this amount we'll probably get 1 or 2 buckets of honey first run, and then we'll leave it for longer. It takes a while because we don't have a central, it's not like Ian Stepler's wax melter, which has a central rod in the middle which would melt the middle here. It tends to be a big ball which is not warmed up in the middle. So it's not the ideal thing, but if I get it liquid enough and we stir it, then it'll break up. But once we decide to turn the temperature up to about 150, then the wax will melt. And then we can break it all up, and we'll have 2 layers of wax. Two layers. One will be the wax floating on the top, and then one will be the honey, which will be cooked at the bottom, so it'll be sort of at a pasteurized temperature. That'll come out, and that will be darker honey, or melter honey, that we can use for barbecue sauce and that sort of thing. But anyway, we're starting the process. A tank like this often gives me about 30-40 pounds of wax, and then maybe 25 gallons of honey of various sorts. So let's see how it goes. It's 4 hours later. We're at about 122 degrees. So it's getting there. You see it's gone down 8 inches or so. So we're getting some of that honey to settle through. The wax is getting soft, so it's kind of slumping down as well. And later on, this is maybe another 3 or 4 hours, I'll drain some of the honey out. Now it's about 6 or 7 hours since we set it up. Still at about 125, approaching 130, and the wax continues to sink down further. I think we will leave it like this overnight, and then we'll drain out what honey is in there. Let's keep the top on, retain what heat we can. Keep the cardboard over there, help retain some of the heat, and we shall see how it goes. This works really, really well. We'll get a bucket or so of honey out of there, I hope, tomorrow morning. Okay, so we've been operating now for about 24 hours at nudging 125 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And we've shrunken down a lot now, down about 14 inches or so. You see it's starting to shrink away from the edges as well. So try and get some honey out. There's lots of chunks of wax and that sort of thing here, so you definitely need sieves. But it's flowing okay. Sometimes you need to rod it a bit. And all this wax can go back up to the top. But there's clearly not enough honey in here to float the wax on top right now. So there's sufficient weight of wax pushing it down, so the wax is right down to the bottom as well. That becomes very different when it gets to when you get the temperature up and the wax actually melts. Then they stratify very, very well. It's all pretty thick. We're not going to get out as much clean honey as I thought we would in the first run. I only do this once a year, so I never really remember exactly what to expect at each stage. But it's coming through. I'm going to probably stop heating it at this stage because I'm going to go away in a few hours. I'd hoped I was going to pour off a bit of honey and then be able to stop it, but what we've got is maybe an inch of honey down at the bottom of the bucket. I'll be putting this wax back up into the melter. Next week what I'm going to do is turn the temperature right up and we'll start to melt the wax and take off some of the dark honey as well. But this works really well if you end up with a lot of crystallized honey in your frames, but I think I drained off these honeys pretty well, so there's maybe less honey in the wax than I was thinking there might have been. But often you get a lot of crystallized honey in there, which actually bulks up everything, and when you heat it up to 130, you end up with gallons and gallons and gallons of honey running off the bottom. But that's not the case. This was mostly summer. A lot of summer honey didn't crystallize yet, and so the honey that was in there drained off before it even went into the melter. So I'm going to turn the melter off for now, so I don't leave it on running hot and risk problems associated with leaving heating elements on when I'm away. I've done that once before, much to my cost. Not with this machine, but still. Okay, so we're going to pull the plug. And carry on. I've got some jobs to do this weekend, so I'm not going to be around to look after and start the process of raising the temperature of this extractor right now. So what we'll do is we will leave it for now, And maybe I'll get this video posted for now as part 1, and we'll see how it finishes off next week. I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. See you next time.